Oops, I didn't even have it. I didn't have it unmuted. Well, we are at least transmitting. We know how to do this technically, and if nobody shows, nobody shows. No biggie. At least I'll know how to do it. So here we are. My first live. Uh, I know it's quite a complicated thing to get an audience on these channels, and a reminder of why I'm doing this and what my focus is coming from a technical background and coming from also an OCD background. But to be frank, and as I've said before, I think a lot of people in IT actually have some form of OCD or whatnot, which in many cases is used to our advantage. So that's kind of the focus of the channel is, I'd like to be able to let others know that it's okay to have OCD. It's okay to be a neurodivergent, as people like to use the term. And I think a lot of the problems in the world would be solved if we all just understood we all have our own little ticks and quirks. So I do think that this will be recorded and stored as a live, and this won't be the first. I'll get a schedule like once a week on a particular day. I'll just do a live, and if people show, people show. If nobody shows, cool, cool. It'll still give me the experience. Anytime, to me, something isn't successful, yeah, you got to use it as a learning experience. Be able to say, what can I learn from it? What can I do better next time? How do I get more of an audience, more of an interactive audience? How do I expose it? How do I expand it? So, trying a bunch of different channels and options. And like I said, I was a little disappointed when I found out that TMS was supposedly a sensitive topic. So some of my other stuff where I'll be more focused on some reviews and some of the technical information, I think will pass some of the checks that the TMS is failing. So I'll be growing hopefully some audiences in those areas as well. So uplift the channel, uplift the content, make things better. I will be doing a couple things I wanted to talk about in some upcoming videos. One, I'm going to talk about this thing. This is the Ember, I believe, yeah, the Ember mug. It's actually a Bluetooth controlled mug. It is able to do keep your cup warm, keep your hot chocolate or whatever else you want to keep warm going. It sits on a plate that keeps it charged, and it keeps it to whatever temperature you want to maintain it at. So there's some little pieces that do bug my OCD about it, and concerns I have. The big thing is getting scratches. I mean, you pay all this, and you're trying to make sure that there's no scratches. And so far, I have been doing pretty good keeping no scratches in it, but I don't use metal to stir or anything like that. So from an OCD perspective, talking about a product like this, they're just little quirks to think about, and then I can talk about it from a technical perspective because that's kind of what I do. So expect me to, these are not going to be sponsored videos. They're going to be just me telling you what I think from a technical and OCD perspective combined. So, yep. That's some of the things that we hope to do in the future. It has gotten kind of dirty. This is the plate that it sits and charges on. Yoink. Well, we'll keep this running for a little bit. Probably I'll use what I like to call the Zoom call time frame. Give it 15 minutes, and nobody shows, we'll shut it down. But again, at least it's given me an opportunity to learn how to do it. This is the first time I've done one of these, and now I know from a technical perspective how to make it happen. So any further ones, there won't be any, hopefully, any technical difficulties. I do find it kind of funny that my ferret videos are some of the fastest growing without any advertisement whatsoever. So, ferrets. Maybe the next live, I'll just simply be like, those what was it, Petco or whatever did those Super Bowls where all they did is watch puppies running around. Maybe I'll do some kind of video with just watching two ferrets attack each other. See how to make that work. Ferrets. We do have two dogs as well. We have Joey, who is a Chiweenie, which is a Chihuahua and Dachshund, and then we have Sally, who's a Golden Retriever Chihuahua mix. No clue whatsoever how that happened, and I'm not sure anybody wants to know. So. I'll cover it in another video, but the reason it's called My Personal Opinion is my grandfather, who was a Berkeley grad and very opinionated, used to remind me that when I would say my personal opinion, how silly it is because it's already your opinion, it's already personal. There's no need to call it my personal opinion. He also referred to me as JM, so I thought it was kind of funny to have that. So maybe some of these I'll have to turn around and do some video play. I do play some games. One of them I do is Satisfactory, which is a fun little game. Yeah, there's quite a few people that were shocked and surprised that Google Ads deems TMS and ketamine discussions as medically sensitive. But the hard part about it is, a lot of people are going to go through these processes and want some support and look to oftentimes the YouTubes to see other people who have experienced it as well. I mean, why would you not? I never ever promote that I'm a doctor or promote that I'm giving medical advice. I'm simply saying, hey, these are some ideas and thoughts, and this is where things sit. So it's always about my experience. I never say this is going to be everybody's experience. It's just one avenue, and also there is a little bit of obsession in my OCD that challenges what they do and how they work. And biggest thing I did find that bugs me about TMS is that there's no feedback. So I've mentioned that a few times in my other videos. The lack of feedback is very frustrating to deal with. And, you want something that tells you it's working, that they're hitting the right targets, that it's doing the right thing, and it's hard because you're like guessing. Well, do you feel better? Well, that's very subjective. You want some objective feedback, and as an IT person, that makes it hard too, because subjective feedback is um, subjective feedback doesn't give you the real picture. It makes you question things. Subjectivity is actually what OCD can often trigger off of. Um, an OCD mind wants objectivity, something that you can hold on to and grasp and know 100% it's what's doing the right thing, that you're hitting the right targets, that you're getting the right data. So oftentimes it's frustrating that um, OCD is uh, desperate for some kind of data to say we're hitting it right, just right. But there is none of that right now in TMS. TMS is okay. We're gonna hit something, and we're gonna see whether it causes a reaction. And if it causes a reaction, great. And if it doesn't, then either we make adjustments or just decide that it's not working for you. So fun stuff. So the only big thing I've noticed with this process that definitely I'm gonna have to get used to is the delay. I was watching this live on another channel upstairs, and we were kind of watching the video feed, and there is quite a delay. There's another project I'm on that we do live broadcasts every week, and I saw the delay there, and definitely see a delay here as well. So definitely would be a challenge if I tried some old school ideas like taking phone calls. That would be interesting. We'll end it at about 6:20 if we don't get any other folks joining. But again, this is going to be something I may repeat once a week. I don't know if it will be Friday. We may try another day, something that maybe like every Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 6 might be a good option. And then, if we have something that's repeatable, even if nobody shows up, eventually people may. The old if you build it, they will come kind of thing. So you may notice, I don't know, you can kind of, things are blurred, but Ghostbusters. And yes, that's a certain green creature spinning around on a magnet. So, and another thing you may notice, nope, I got to get used to where this is, but Yaesu, that's the one of the makers of the ham radio equipment I use. I have been involved in ham radio as well. So a lot of different hobbies, a lot of different ideas, a lot of different thoughts, a lot of different experiences, which is again why I call it my personal opinion, because guess what? That gives me a lot of leeway of what I can talk about. So at least we got a good solid feed from here to the YouTube servers. No dropped frames, nothing like that. So that's a good thing. Learned that our internet connection here is good enough to do a live feed. Also, I'm trying to do a beard, but I'm terrible at beards. I usually do goatees because I get spots, little holes. So we'll see. Anything else to talk about while we wait to see if anybody comes through? I don't know. Do a lot of VR. I do have VR equipment. I do have still this one's branded Oculus though. It's not there actually is no branding on here, but for those of you who know, these are I don't know. Yeah, these are Oculus branded. There's an Oculus logo. But I love VR. My dream would be kind of like a Matrix type of setup where you can jack in and go live in Skyrim for a few hours. So I think I see VR as the ultimate end game of what books were supposed to do, and books still do it for me in your imagination. But when you're zooming around in the worlds of the book, it's all in your head. But if you can get some cool visuals and audio, I think that just enhances the experience. So I don't think it replaces books, but it definitely does some of the things that people want books to do, take you away and let you float away into another world. So maybe some content on here that I'll be doing in the future on VR. Stuff. So for those of you who want are interested to know some of the genres I like, both in books and fantasy, and those are both sci-fi and fantasy. I do miss good fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, or those types of things. I used to play D&D when I was a kid. The old red box set to Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and so on and so forth. And I always used to always still do always preferred to play the mages, the wizards, that type of thing. I was never into the sword and shield type thing. I always let somebody else run ahead and do that. So if you're in a VR game, the Skyrims and the there hasn't been a lot of good stuff in VR right now, but anything that's a open world where you can wander and do your own thing, I think that's the stuff that's cool. I do like some anime. Big Studio Ghibli fan. Probably said that wrong. And I loved a series called Sword Art Online, which kind of talks about VR and fantasy. So everybody's kind of waiting for a Sword Art Online type of thing to come about. I do know that there's a couple players that are trying to put together MMORPGs for the headsets. Haven't been as successful as I'd hoped, but I know they're still working on it. So, well, folks, it's coming to about 6:20. So, without a lot of content and back and forth for today, we're going to take this up as a good learning experience. Kind of hope that we can do another one of these and maybe get some folks to come and join. So, you know what? This is my personal opinion. These are my opinions. I'm JM, and I hope everybody has a great day and thinks happy thoughts. And